new work is a term that you can look at from two perspectives. On the one perspective, you have the theory or the history of new work based on the ideas of Frithjof Bergmann. He made a theory about and practice also theory and practice about the question how work is changing when there is less work than before. And he said it would make more sense to reduce the amount of work for everybody, so that everybody in the company just works 30 or 40%, and there's a rest of time, 60% about that, yeah. And he said the people need to do something in these 60%. They need the 30%. They are still working in the company for paying their rent or paying things they cannot build themselves. Then he said another 30% of time the people should use for building and repairing their things they have, based on, and that was a very visionary idea, based on 3D printers, for example, to build high-tech products themselves. And he made this studies and research, and his book, New Work, New Culture, it's called. So that the people should go to maker spaces in their communities, very local communities, to build up high-tech products. That is the second third. Yeah, you have two thirds. The first third is the basic work they have in the companies. The second is high-tech self providing with this 3D printing, and then there is a rest. There's a rest of time, and he said that is the time people should think about what they really, really want to do. Yeah, they have a time for, in social work, we would say, for empowerment, for freedom, for searching what they should or what they like to do. He said the people they don't know what they really would like to do, because they have never learned to think about this question. So we need to support people in finding an answer to this question. And in my eyes, this first thing about new work based on Frithjof Bergmann has a lot to do with social work, because we also in the social work practice always are thinking about and preparing or working with the people in finding or a better life. The second meaning, and that is I would say more common meaning, is a question about how we structure our work in our social organizations. We have a lot of changes in our society. We have climate change, we have demographic changes, we have, of course, this big topic of digital transformation and how to serve it. We have a lot of complexity, rising complexity. Currently, of course, this Corona crisis, yeah, which makes another topic on this question, how to deal with it. And the old answer, how to organize work, how to organize institutions and organizations, was a hierarchical organization. You need a boss or a chef or a leader or something like that, or administration at the top, and then you have a hierarchy, and then at the bottom you have some people which are working. So, and in new work, in these new ideas of how to structure companies, how to structure organizations, you can say this pyramid, this hierarchical pyramid, is turned from the bottom to the top. Yeah, it's changed. Yeah, in the other way around, and you say, okay, the main people are the people doing work. Yeah, not the leaders, not the bosses, not the administration, but the people which are producing more worse. And again, you can directly switch to social work because social work always is happening directly in the interaction between the patients or the clients and the social worker. And it's not about what is the leader saying or what is the rules of the organizations or all these I would call it funny management stuff. Yeah, it's always about the direct interaction between the social worker at the base and the client or patient. It's a little bit coming back to small communities which support themselves. This is, I would call it perhaps entrepreneurial thinking. Could you start your own business? Could you start your own social organizations? Perhaps is there still time, perhaps, for helping each other in your neighborhood, for example, helping elder people, helping the sick, and care for family, for children, for elder people. Normally, all this work is done by women. You can change it to a part of work in the society itself. Yeah. So you can of course you have to think about it, and it's not so easy to switch the society from today to tomorrow into this new work thinking. But to have the idea in mind, think about what you really want to do could change the society and the working ways we are in.
We are discussing actually the idea of community social work or community-based social services as one option for the future. So we have to find resources in existing structures in the society and activate people to contribute. So maybe this fits very well together, what you are saying about this new work.
Right. If you come to the general ideas of social work, then social work is not focusing alone on one perhaps medical aspect or psychological aspect or sociological aspect. It's focusing on the whole system. So the basic social worker would be an ideal networker within these neighborhoods, preparing, structuring these networks, looking for options, looking for bringing together some people, and so on and so on. In my eyes, the social worker would be an ideal new work professional, where you can say, okay, he's responsible for building these networks, for building these possibilities to bring together people, to build up these maker spaces. In my eyes, if you look at the educational system, at schools especially, and even at high schools and all the education for work we have, then we always have someone in front, and he's telling us, everybody of us, what we have to do. And if we do right what he's saying, or she is saying what we can do right, then if we do it right, we get good grades, we get more income, we do career making, and so on and so on. So we are socialized in thinking that there is someone saying us where to go, what to do, where the next step is. And we start with it in Germany in the kindergarten with the first ideas, or in the primary school, where the kids come and say, I have to write. I have 3 children. One is in the first class, so I have some pictures in mind. I have to write 3 pages of the letter A. And if it's not looking nice, they have to do it again. Because they say, oh, I need to do what the teacher is saying. So we are not prepared for thinking ourselves. In my eyes, I compare it, it's a little bit funny picture with a industrial chicken. Industrial chicken in these cages. You have hundreds or thousands of these chickens in this cage. And now we talking about social or about new work, and we say, oh, you need freedom, you need to decide yourself, and so on and so on. So you take the chicken out of this cage and do it directly into the forest or into a nice area, and you say to the chicken, come on, find your worm. Yeah, find your worm, and you now you are free. Yeah, now you are free, and the chicken will sit there, because the one point is the chicken does not have muscles to walk. Yeah, it has not trained to walk free around, because it always sat in his cage. And on the other hand, the fox is coming and saying, oh, chicken, what are you doing here? That's great, that's meal for me. Yeah, do you want to say something? No, you didn't learn to say anything, so I will catch you. Yeah, that means on the thinking behind it, you need to develop the people from the one point where they are now to the next level. It's not made, oh, everybody would like to have freedom overall and would like to decide everything to do, and so on and so on. No, you need to empower. It's again empowerment. Empower the people from the first, where they are now in our hierarchical structures, to more freedom, to more decision making, to more participation in developing the organization, in developing the work they do, and so on. Or in the systemic view on how to change, how to make change, or how to change management organizations, you have three possibilities. You can first change the strategy of the organization. You can say, okay, we would like to implement in our strategy things like innovation, things like digital transformation. We need to go digital. We need to be a digital company, and so on and so on. And if you have it in your strategy and you're working on your strategy, you are changing step by step also the culture behind it. The people start thinking like, oh, that could be a good innovation, or this could be a good idea for a business model based on digital ideas, or something like that. So the first, strategy. The second is structure. If you do another structure in your company, if you, for example, have 3 or 4 hierarchical levels. Yeah, the first is a team leaders, then you have the regional leaders, and then you have a leader something above that, and then you have the big leader. If you put away, for example, one of these management levels, the people have to start to work different ways. Yeah, they are forced to do it. Other example for structures, if you have a lot of rules, for example, quality management rules. Yeah, you need to fill out this funny paper. You need to fill out this, and you need to make some numbers, key performance indicators in some papers. Let it be. If you switch away all these rules, or more or less of all these rules, yeah, you can start and then one by one you would put away rules that are not necessary for your work. Then you change the structure, and the people have more freedom to decide themselves. So, yeah, second aspect, changing the structure of the company. And the third option you have is changing, it sounds a little bit strange, changing the people. If you employ people which are coming with a different mindset, with an open mindset, with an innovation mindset, and so on and so on, if you have enough of these people employed in your company, they will change the way they are working together. But it takes time. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. Yeah, how to change these existing organizations from one part to another part. You can start with very small aspects. If you, for example, do a new have to think about a new strategy of your organizations. Where do we want to go? How would we like to deal with the Corona situation, for example, and so on and so on. why not make a participation of all your employees? Ask them, come to them and ask them, what would your idea be? And the main aspect behind it is then also not punishing them if it would be a problem. But it's your idea. You have a good idea. Your idea is perhaps not so good, but could be in the future. Could be. And the background why it's so important to come to this way is, as I said before at the beginning, this high complexity we have in our surroundings, in our environment. Digitalization, climate change, corona, demographic changes, and so on and so on. Enormous complexity, and we need this to deal with this complexity in the environment of our organizations. We need to make also complexity inside of our organizations. We need complex organizations inside to deal with the complexity in the outside. The question for me is always, what is digitalization? You have a big term and everybody understands something different behind it. The one think about social media, how to use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on and so on. The next think about how to digitalize processes. Which processes do we have and how to digitalize them? Many people think about, oh, I'm afraid about my job. If everything is digital, I lose my job, perhaps. The next one is thinking about how to lead people when they are not in the office. Currently, I'm sitting here in my private office, home office. You too, right? It's the same. And if you are a manager or a leader or a boss, saying, oh, no, I don't have control about my people because I don't know where they are, what they are doing. Perhaps they are washing their clothes, or they are playing with their kids, or and so on and so on. And if you don't have trust, you have a big problem. So the first thing in talking about digitalization, also on my eyes, is defining what you really mean with it. That is very important, because the other point would be, you are talking about the topic and you are not coming to a good result. Everybody is happy about we had a good talk about digitalization, but you don't have any results to go a step further. Organizations that are had been prepared before, because they said, oh, digitalization is an important topic for us. It's important to use these digital technologies and so on before the pandemic. Now they are good prepared. They can react very fast. They can say, okay, home office is no problem. If you look at the social organizations, you say, oh no, if they have one computer for all employees, that's good. You can say, oh, that's a good infrastructure. Sometimes they do not have internet access. And in my eyes, we need to come to a leader role where the leader is working on the company. He's not working in the company. In the company, you have the people, the social workers in our eyes, they are dealing with the patients and so on and so on. And the leader has to think about how to structure the organization the best way, so that we can solve the problems for our clients and community and neighborhood and so on and so on. The leader should have the role to make service for the employees, so that the employees can do a very good job, not the other way around. The employees are not there for the leader. The leader is there for the employees. And if you think about digitalization, you have the same topic. The leader should think about how could it be a good idea to use digital options, digital technologies, social media, and so on and so on. The leader is there to structure all these aspects. But in my eyes, every social worker needs to have an idea about what is happening in the digital world. What is happening in changing business models, for examples? What are the ideas behind, for example, social media? You say as a social worker, you have to go where your clients are. Yeah, you have to be there where your clients are. And yes, the clients are in the digital world, because more than 99% of all people use digital tools. So in my eyes, if you would like to deal with all these questions as a social worker, you need to have an idea of digital competences. You need to develop your own digital competences to solve your social problems with your clients. Not complexity. Yeah, this is an easy causal ways of dealing with the surroundings. But now, as I explained, we have a rising complexity in our environment, and we can't deal with this easy structured companies.